So, thanks, Ashley. We will get things started. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dale Wielden. I'm actually going to hand it over to Donna Petrie to start and to give the official where we are.
Thanks, Dale. Hi, everyone. So I'd like to acknowledge that the city acknowledges and honors the traditional territories of the Coast Salish, specifically the Esquimalt and Songhees, the Lekwungen speaking people, and also the Shiano and the Wasanic peoples represented by the Sartla, Pakichin, Sayo, Sakim, and Malahat nations. And we're very grateful to be here today on these beautiful lands.
Great. Thanks very much, Donna. So yes, as you can see from that, I'm not in my community right now. I'm in the city of Langford at the city of Langford municipal office, which I'm really pleased that they've allowed me to share their meeting room with them, and while I'm here in Victoria for some meetings. So this first of all, want to start off with talking about, so today we want to talk to you about how some communities are using the ExecutivePulse program, but also how they're doing business retention and expansion, or looking at ways for business registration for as we know that now some regional districts are starting to be allowed to do business licensing. Some municipalities are looking at changes as to how they can do things. So we wanted to give the example as to what Langford's doing as well. And then we wanted to talk about doing comparisons between regions within your community. So if you break your community up into geographic areas, how you can actually do those comparisons based on the data that you've collected from your businesses. Laith, I think, will be showing that a little bit later, and using the South Okanagan platform for that. So first of all, I want to introduce Christina Allen from the Castlegar. She's from Castlegar Chamber of Commerce. Her role is Business Retention and Support Advisor. And I had the pleasure of actually meeting Christina when I did a quick tour of the Kootenays last year to stop into some of the key communities throughout the regions, and did stop in Revelstoke, so it's nice to see Kat here. And then I also stopped in Invermere and in Castlegar. So Christina, over to you. But I can tell you that Christina she's a fireball. She just gets things going. So Christina, really happy that you could join us today.
Oh, well, thank you, Dale. Thank you very much. That's an awesome introduction. Thank you very much to the BCEDA for having me here today. And I was asked to come and talk a little bit about the program that the Castlegar District Chamber of Commerce has been working on, utilizing ExecutivePulse, and we've done some extensive work on that. I'm going to just share my screen here so we can get started with the presentation. Hello to everybody on the call. I see some familiar faces. Sasha, hi, nice to see you. And of course, Laith and all of the team here at BCEDA. Great to see you guys here. So let me. Oops. Oh, I had it all ready to go. Where did it go? Hold on. Here we go. Let me shut that down. All right. Right. So the project that we've been working on, and I'm here today to talk through this amazing webinar opportunity on empowering economic growth and unveiling innovations in business retention and expansion with BC Business Counts and Executive Pulse. So this is exactly what we've been working on for the course of the last 12 months, the Chamber of Commerce, and then in partnership with several different organizations as well. So just a quick history of the collaboration on this particular role. The work that's been done here has been pretty much reliant on funding through a variety of different organizations, and we have both regional and local funding support through the City of Castlegar Regional Districts RINJ, as well as through ExecutiveBC, who have been our primary funders. This support has been integral in the funding of the role to be able to do the work and get this database up and running. And it really has been important to have that behind us. So I want to send a big shout out and thank you to everybody through ExecutiveBC and the city and RDCK areas. So we had a few very specific project goals that were for the work that we started dipping our toes into in the summer of 2022 and the fall of 2023, and then really it's summer of 2022. And then in the spring of 2023, we received funding for this particular role, and that was to really drill down on building out the database that we had subscribed to with Executive Pulse. Prior to that, we'd done a lot of research on what we wanted from a system, how we wanted it, what data we wanted to represent, and what worked best within our circle of chambers of commerce and with others that were in our circles. And we decided on Executive Pulse, and it was an amazing opportunity to work with Laith and his team, and we've really been happy with this project. So the goals of the project were basically to understand who is our business community. As a small community with a population under $10,000 or 10,000 people, we actually don't fall within the ability to get a lot of very specific census data. So much of the data that we can get is lumped in with other communities, and it isn't specific to our area. And so we wanted to really drill down into understanding what's the composition of our local economic community. Who are they? Where are they? Who are the owners of the businesses? What type of businesses are they? Are they, private and incorporated companies? Are they sole proprietorships? Are they head office located in our area, or are they a branch business that is doing business in our area but has head office location elsewhere? What do they do? What is the business activity? Where are they within our region? Because the area is quite large and expansive geographically. Other areas of interest or chamber membership status and additional areas of business support, such as, are they women-owned businesses? Are they Aboriginal-owned businesses? Are they in areas that there are segmentized supports that are available for those types of business owners? We also wanted to understand and have a historical record of how many businesses are open at a specific time and how many have closed over a specific time. So we can really say, oh, this is our business retention rate, and be able to back that up with some data. We wanted to understand from a high level, when we know what the business activity is that's in our area, what areas are we doing a lot of business in, and what areas are we not? And are those areas tied to ways that that exposes to risk as a community should a primary sector of dependence no longer be available? So how can we diversify our business community? And in order to understand that, we have to know what we have that is right there right now. We wanted to create an effective portal of communication with the entire business community in the event of an emergency or for business retention and expansion and ongoing support. So the contact information that has been imported into the system, we can easily create a distribution list and send information out right away to get information to everyone in the business community at once. And then finally, we wanted an accurate recording of the day-to-day chamber activities and historical timestamping. So we know who was all utilizing the chamber's services and what our levels of service have been over a period of time. So our sources of data, this was a grassroots initiative in that we, as I mentioned, are a very, very small community and don't have a huge budget or the ability to sign up for like TELUS data and the amazing stuff through CityViz that I know that Sasha, you guys do. But this was a real grassroots initiative, and we started off by taking an internal Excel spreadsheet that the Chamber of Commerce had created at the beginning of COVID, which was really only 525 businesses, but they were verified, and we reformatted the whole data spreadsheet and exported it into ExecutivePulse. And then we subsequently added to that list through the Chamber of Commerce online business directory and this business licensing listing that comes in from the city, regional and city zoning maps. Then we did Google searches, online searches, Yellow Pages. As you can see, it was like a real grassroots initiative, right down to physically driving around. And the reason for that is that in our area, the regional district INJ, there are no requirements for business licenses. So it's really, I mean, outside of these types of searches, it's really a challenge to find all of these businesses. So when we look at challenges, as I mentioned, the sources of data, they were really varied and none of them spoke to each other. So we needed to bring all of this together under one roof, which required some considerable kind of dedication and heavy lifting for a few months. The business licenses, again, are specific to the city of Castlegar and those businesses doing business in the city of Castlegar, but not to the RDCK areas outside of us. And census data, again, our size of community is so small that we don't get the sectored census data that is available elsewhere. Cross-referencing of data, our municipal business license list is about a 400-page paper-based copy list that is up until this point in time, we haven't been able to create a way of sorting on a side-by-side basis. We now have that through ExecutivePulse because we can run a report that shows all of the business license numbers from 1 to however many, 10,000, in sequential order and match that to the municipal license list because that's the way that license list is presented. So we anticipate moving forward that this comparison will take maybe a few hours versus what previously had been weeks and weeks of work to try to ensure that we had captured correctly. And data integrity is a challenge because we live in a fluid economy, and the minute everything goes into the system, then it's out of date. So we needed to have something that allowed for some fluidity that way. And we were really happy that ExecutivePulse provides us with the option of tagging businesses as open or closed or different stages of the business operation. So we can kind of keep on top of it. And now that we've imported as much data as we have into our system, we can have the chamber staff basically take it from here and complete periodic reviews and maintain the information as it moves forward. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the survey campaign that we did back in these summer and fall last year. So as part of our way of trying to find a way of mass surveying and communication, we decided to expand our normal business walk program, which had been in place for a decade, I think, at least a decade, but done on an in-person basis and put it into a virtual capacity as well. And for that, I had a lot of people behind me helping me with this. And Laith and his team at ExecutivePulse were amazing. They spent so much time with me, training me on how to do things and being patient with my never-ending list of questions of this and that and the other, and what about this and what about that. And so I just can't express enough gratitude to you, Laith, and your team. And the BC EDA, Dale and Ashley, you guys, your visit here to Castlegar was great. It was so lovely to meet you in person. But your help with putting together the survey and tailoring that into the system was just amazing as well. So some statistics here, we had at the time that this was done, we had the 525 businesses fully integrated into ExecutivePulse. And we sent out a virtual campaign link for the survey, created a little contest around it so people were incented to participate. And then this survey link was sent out by Laith and his team en masse to 525 businesses that were in our system. And then there were weekly reminders that were sent out for those folks who had not replied, and a total of just under 3,000 email prompts were sent to the business community. Some statistics, we had 75 businesses that fully completed the survey and 109 who clicked the link to access the survey but didn't fully complete it. So we'll have to do a little education campaign next time to make sure you press submit. And then we supplemented that with our in-person business walk in October. With that, we had 16 different representatives from across the community, and there were a total of 41 surveys that were completed that way. Once we had both information from both of those surveys, and again, they were both using the same survey. So the survey questions were identical on both the in-person as the virtual, so we could have real side-by-side comparison. Then Laith and his team at ExecutivePulse merged the information into so that we could have one way of reporting on the entire campaign. I'm just gonna stop my screen because I'd like to show you basically screen share with you the dashboard that will show some of the different reporting features on this particular on this campaign. Somehow this isn't working for me. Hold on one second.
Once you get it up, you'll have to share your screen again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had this all set up and ready to go, and now it doesn't want to work. As is the way. Let me try it one more time here.
Partners like Executive and CityViz. I'll share the link to our entire list of member discounts and perks.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ashley, for filling the time for me there. So this is a screen share of some of the different kinds of dashboard reporting. So dashboard reporting in the ExecutivePulse platform allows you to take a look at specific demographic or specific information, and it filters it up into a variety of different formats. You can got your donuts or your all your different bar graphs and different information so that you can represent the data how you'd like. This is the compiled business walk data dashboard, some of the dashboard reports that I've created. And I'll just expand them a little bit here. So one of our questions was, what do you like most about living and doing business in Castlegar in the West Kootenay region? And it breaks it down into all of the different responses. And we can see very easily what our heaviest concentrations are. And this gives us some information for tourism development and business retention and expansion. We also had things such as, what are the biggest challenges facing your business today? And of course, 74 of our respondents said there was inflation, increased costs. So it ranks basically all of these different factors in order. One of the features that I found particularly interesting for my role as a business retention support advisor was one of the questions was, do you need any help? And so I was able to identify, you know, those folks who were requesting some assistance for their business and those who weren't. Other information like staffing, we had a question about, do we need to hire staff? So this is information now that can be shared with our local service providers that assist companies for staffing and employee retention, such as the Kootenay Society for Kootenay Employment Services. So this information, all the information from our survey, can now be reflected here into these dashboards in very easy, one quick little way of being able to see it. Another quick one that might be interesting to see is this is a physical location by NACE code of who completed our surveys. So we had surveys that they're all tagged to each individual company, and we can say, okay, well, what were the industries that were mostly responding to our surveys, and where were they? Where were they located? Each one of these lines indicates an area: Castlegar, Area J, Area I, out of market, other, that sort of thing. So with respect to the survey itself, that was that a lot of great information that we can pull from that. And then if we look at total like economic demographic information, maybe I can't share and do that at the same time. Change it over.
So the fact that you are able to compare within your community or within the region by NAICS codes, you have all of the NAICS codes for all of the businesses in your system, or did the businesses need to research that themselves?
No, that was part of our project, actually, Dale, was to go through and code every single business that was within our system with NAICS codes. So we have all of them have up to 6-digit NAICS code segmentation. So it really does drill down very clearly what our businesses are in the community. It's actually, it's an amazing tool. Okay, I think I've got it sorted here. Let me just screen share one more time. Okay, so this is this is kind of high-level demographic information, and I think I'm over on my time, so I'm going to apologize. I'll kind of make this quick. One of the ones, though, that I think that ties to what you were talking about, Dale, in earlier, is understanding what is the business activity in our community and where is it located. And this is where these types of reports come in really handy, because this is a NAICS code report that is segmentized by geographic area. So again, down at the bottom here, we've got our various different areas: Castlegar, out of market, Area I, and Area J. And surprisingly, when we backed it up to a 2-digit NAICS, and this is something I wanted to ask you, Nathan, or Laith, is if we can actually get further than that. But a 2-digit NAICS segmentation shows that we've got really heavy segment concentration of construction industry in our area. And surprisingly, we have a lot of out of market people that are maybe contractors who are physically located in Calgary or Kelowna or wherever that have business licenses that come in to do work in shutdowns, because our major industries in our area are the pulp mill and tech mine, and Interfor, Klasnikov, that sort of stuff. So heavy industry, and they bring in outside contractors. So that's a really interesting line item that we can read from that. But this then just shows the totality of all of the businesses that are in our sector and where they're physically located, broken up by a two-digit level NAICS code. Now this one, other services, this is all inclusive of all of our repair and maintenance services, commercial, personal, and heavy industry repair and maintenance. And we have a lot of that in our community, as well as other personal services and things like that. But that's where that line is. Anyhow, so I just wanted to show you some of the interesting things that this system can do and how we've kind of been dipping our toe really into it to get really familiar with how we can use it. And I'm just going to, oh golly. And I'll just go ahead and screen share the rest of things here. Okay. So the ExecutivePulse reporting tool was just it was a game changer for us. The dashboard reports that I just showed you can be tailored to each role within our organization. We can have ways to be able to reflect the data of our community very easily. That is like, it's awesome. The reports that are generated, we can have really professional looking prepared reports that are available at a keystroke. The GPS mapping, because each business we've got physical addresses, we've got postal codes, we've got as much information into the system as we can. So there is a mapping system which can show where all our businesses are physically located, which is really an amazing tool for us. And the export capabilities, by having the ability to move into a Excel type of a spreadsheet platform or a PDF or whatever type of exporting you need, makes this really easy to use. And then one of our goals was to be able to track activity in the Chamber of Commerce and be able to quantify the efforts, the humongous efforts that are being made in business engagement and expansion and retention, and this being able to go into each individual profile and record that you've been speaking to someone, and then have that track over time is an amazing way of trying to create those key performance indicators. And finally, we all learned some big lessons in in the misfortune of some of our other communities in BC with fire and flood and all sorts of challenges. So we wanted to make sure that our information was kept in a cloud-based system, which was protected from any of that. Finally, I guess I put, this is my rabbit hole picture. And I put it here because we realized very quickly that this project was a rabbit hole, and the more that we learned on it, the more we realized how much more we learned when we needed to learn. And the more, I feel like we're really at a tip of the iceberg of our usage of the system. And there's so much more that we can do. So since the last summer, we've built out the database to include a total of 993 individual businesses. We've expanded, we've additional surveying about chamber programming. We're continuing to build out tagging features, which allows us to generate sector-based information and ease of communication. So for example, we can create have all of our restaurants with a specific tag that we can then generate a a distribution list from and send them all an email in one go if we need to reach out to them. So it allows for some information that way. And again, just having a dedicated staff member to have this to take this on was really important. There was a lot of work that went into this, and it was important to have this not be try to have somebody manage it off the side of their desk. There was just too much involved with it. And finally, having an experienced and responsive technical team was, oh my gosh, it was so incredibly important for us to be able to take this on at all. I am not a technical person very much, outside of the fact that I've used systems that are similar to this in my career in banking. But the team at ExecutivePulse has been just amazing to work with. You guys are so responsive and you're so patient, and you backed me up so many times when I've created disasters. Even when you said that there's nothing I could do to break it, I still broke it and you still fixed it for me. So so you guys went above and beyond for us so many times. We're so grateful for that. And thank you as well to Dale and Ashley for everything that you've done to support us along this way too. And thank you very much for having me. I've given this presentation over to Dale and Ashley, and so if you are interested in it, my contact information is here as well. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Great, thanks very much, Christina. That was phenomenal. You are doing such amazing things with the program. I think you have one of the most comprehensive databases that I've seen. I commend you immensely for, I know it was an extensive amount of work at the very beginning for you, but you had it in your mind, which I think was smart. You and Tammy, I don't know if Tammy's on the line, but you and Tammy said, we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. And you really went above and beyond to really populate the information with very accurate data to the best of your ability based on what you could find. And then it was a matter of, I guess, updating it as things went along, and probably through the survey that was done online, and even through the outreach when you went door to door and met with those, you got more information that you were able to keep it. I mean, to have Aboriginal owned, female owned, the NAICS codes for every business. I mean, hats off to you. I think that's, I commend you for the work that you did there. That's fantastic. So.
Thank you, Dale. Yeah. It wasn't just me, though. I have to say, there was a team of folks. Myself, I led a team, but we had some amazing help. Malcolm Burke and Ronan Powell in our office also assisted with some data entry stuff as well. So,
and I think this information will be, and maybe Tammy, I don't know if you're there, you can jump in, but I think the information that you've gathered through the surveys will also help you, now that you've got this database and the breakdown of the businesses. This is really useful information for local government to have, and you're sharing this information. It's not just an internal chamber information, it's being able to be shared with the regional district and I guess that in the town of city of Castlegar, correct?
Yeah, Dale, I just thank you for all of your kind words, and hats off to Christina, who's really been the catalyst in making all this happen. Because we also have the contract to deliver economic development as well too. We used to, and now we have the contract back again. This information is pivotal for not only our chamber members, but en masse all of the business community, and really driving all of our initiatives from here. And it's definitely been a game changer for us with, I think, securing the economic development funding once again from the city of Castlegar and regional district. And so there's just no end to this. I love Christina's rabbit hole, because the more that happens, the more excited we get, the more we want to do. And so it's really interesting. So I think we both have to stop each other sometimes and realize what the capacity we have to do right now, and but where we want to go in the future. So, and
when Colleen and I were there in the community, I absolutely felt that. exactly what it was. You get to this point, you went, wow, we can do, so now we want to do something else. And it, yeah, that energy showed, so congratulations. So.
And one of the young men that's been helping Christina is doing his economics and data science degree. So that just catapulted into a whole bunch more ideas of what data should be doing. So so it's exciting. We really appreciate everything about this program. Wow.
Awesome, good, very much. Thanks very much, Tammy. Okay, so we're going to move on now to Donna, and Donna does not have a presentation, which is fine, which is good. So I'm gonna actually ask her some questions. And Langford, so Donna, you have actually been with Langford for a number of
Yeah,
years.
we 5 years this June, yeah.
5 years. And did you start pretty well right away then, trying to get into the business retention side of things and
Yeah,
Executive Pulse?
It's actually a good transition from Christina because it's so inspiring and exciting to see how she has leveraged the Executive Pulse program. Because when I first came to Langford, very progressive city, which is exciting, and we have a very progressive business license approach to the business licensing system. In 2013, council at the time had moved from an annual renewal of the business license, where you pay the $100 every year, to a perpetual business license system, which was fantastic, a great way to cut the bureaucratic red tape, so to speak, and has been, Langford has been a very progressive city for many years and still is. But when I first came and I had this database of businesses, some 6,000-7,000 businesses, that I didn't know who was still here, who's gone, what's active, what's not. And of course, we have our commercial businesses, but a very robust home-based business sector as well. So coming into that, but not knowing who is still active. So that's fantastic for businesses until it's not. And then, so I started in 2019, about midway through the year. And of course, we all know what happened at the beginning of 2020, and instantly went to helping businesses. But the biggest challenge was we don't have everybody's email address, and we certainly don't have an up-to-date business license program. So we had subscribed to Executive Pulse in partnership with BCEDA to explore how could we use this program to update our database and support businesses, but instantly had to stop all work of that at the time because we then went into helping businesses during the day-to-day updates of restrictions, opportunities for grants, but that's amplified the problem.
Right. Yeah, it kind of slowed it down, and I think, and it's amazing. I think you're one of the only communities, I believe, in the province that actually doesn't charge a business license fee. But I also think the fact that you do this business registration, and I know it's not mandatory yet, I believe, it's not mandatory.
We do charge an annual fee, but we do charge a fee for a business license, but just once.
Once, the
So
one time
once you have it,
yeah.
You're good to go. We don't need to hear from you, you're off you go. But right now what we're doing is we're exploring how can we still be not bureaucratic and still be very supportive of businesses, but how can we have at least one touch point a year with businesses so we can make sure their information is up to date, maybe get some baseline data. So we are looking at using Executive Pulse now to have an annual survey that's sent out to businesses where they answer 3 to 5 questions, very simple, we won't make it complicated. Make sure their contact information is up to date. And then once they update that information, they'll hit submit and they'll be emailed their updated business license, again, at no cost.
Right.
So that's kind of what we're exploring. It will have to go to council for approval because we are also updating our business license bylaw, which is pretty out of date as well. And just introducing Jack here, who's our economic development coordinator. We keep calling it the big project because what we need to do, and Christina spoke to this, is prior to entering all of our current data into Executive Pulse, we realized that we need to kind of go comb through that data and update it. So what we're entering into Executive Pulse is accurate and not businesses that have closed.
Right.
And then the addition of using the NAICS codes and some other questions that we want to have as foundational data that moving forward that we get from every business when they apply with their business license from the very beginning. So it's a massive project, but I just can't say enough how excited we are to be working in partnership with BCEDA and ExecutivePulse to have this as a tool. Because it can obviously be used for all the things that Christina spoke to, but we're very excited about how ExecutivePulse and Laith and his team have been able to customize it for us a little bit with the business license piece of being able to have that automatically generated. So it's kind of like the carrot. Yes, please fill out the survey annually that will go out in January if council adopts what we're going to be bringing forward for recommendation, and they'll instantly get their business license.
Now, Laith, you have done the programming for this, or not you? I know you definitely haven't done it.
I've done as much programming for this as you have.
Yeah, there we go, there we go.
You and I are on the same level with this, Dale.
But your team has done it. Now, when we were originally talking about you doing like a business licensing component for ExecutivePulse, and did you mention, and I wanted to put you on the spot, and maybe it's not possible, that they could actually invoice and get paid for the program as well? Use it as like a, if there was invoicing associated with it. So for some communities may want to look at doing a licensing fee for business licenses.
Yeah, we didn't do the invoicing component for them, but we did generate the license, and it's formatted. It looks just like, you know, as their logo and everything. So we're generating those licenses. I'm not ruling out the invoicing. We've done that for other clients where we're going in and doing the kind of the accounting stuff as well. But in this case, it's a little short of that.
Right, okay. But but you are actually processing the actual license. So the license.
Yeah, we're generating those licenses.
You're not having to do that outside of the program.
Exactly.
And I haven't seen it actually do one yet.
It's pretty cool. It looks like something that would come off their, you know, from their shop. It looks good.
Okay. Yeah, and and I have seen sort of the entry points where, because I made another suggestion, so you'll probably get another ask for a little bit of change in programming. I made a little suggestion today.
That's okay. That's fine. I really need to mention Christina too, going back to her presentation. She was very kind to our staff, and she was very nice during the presentation. The reality is we learned a lot of life lessons working with her in a good way. They had specific, like Dale, they were really doing two different silos of surveying. They wanted to do the system generated surveys, like the Survey Monkey type of surveys. And they also wanted to do face-to-face, business walks. And they said to us, why can't this be a seamless process? And up to that point in time, we were really treating those two types of transactions differently. We've subsequently, thanks to these guys, and they gave us food for thought, now we're allowing them, it doesn't matter how you're obtaining that information, you can analyze data across both of those types of interactions.
And that goes for any community using
that goes
system.
For any community. And again,
Yeah.
I want to give them a shout out, because we were not doing that up until that point in time. And they kind of forced us and said, hey, we've got 2 buckets of data here. It makes sense. Why aren't we just combining them? They were virtually the same. There were a couple of nuances, but we learned a lot of life lessons working with, and she's tough. She's a tough practitioner.
One of the things that she asked was, Laith, during the thing that she was going to talk to you about, was the 2-digit NAICS codes. And I think you probably, Christina, does not, but I think you wanted to go a little bit deeper than that, maybe 3, 4 digits.
You can go to 6. You can run 6 digits, but a lot of the reporting. Yeah. And Christina, the reason we keep the reporting for most of our clients at 2-digit is most clients don't have enough nuanced data when you get past the 2-digit level for it to be meaningful. Like where I'm sitting in Pennsylvania, we've got a record set of well over 100,000 businesses. They could go 6 digits and it would be meaningful. For most of our clients, you end up with no results in a lot of the 6-digit categories. So you guys are disciplined enough that you're doing it so you'd get results, but a lot of clients only want to add data to the 2-digit level and move on. That's why we don't offer it standard.
So Donna, just going back to what you might be using it for, you'll probably still use it. Will you still be using it for normal business retention and engagement. It seemed to me that you'd like to do that.
Yeah, we will, because we don't have a database system right now where we track calls that are coming in. So even from a business attraction perspective,
Yeah,
it's nice to be able to track that. Or in these surveys, we might identify a business that's maybe 3 to 5 years of outgrowing their space. Well, I want to start looking for a space for them now, knowing that our
Perfect.
commercial availability is really low.
Yeah.
So it's like tracking the business, the health of the business and where are they going, and tracking conversations. So you also have the historical data, so multiple staff and multiple departments can be using it as well. So it really is like this one-stop tool for not just economic development staff, but from a local government perspective. I'm sure there's multiple departments that would like to use it, and even like our fire department that are doing their annual inspections. I could see that this is something they may start to use as well. And it's interesting because during, I think it was in 2021, Langford, City of Langford was rated in 2 back-to-back years as the #1 city for work and most resilient city in the province, which was incredible. And one of those factors was the diversity of the business that we have here in Langford, which is incredible. But I want to be able to pull a report and know exactly what is the makeup of our business community. Like, this is fantastic, but I need to know more.
yeah,
Because it's a great way of tracking health, and if you're seeing certain industries that are being affected by any given factor, if you can't track that and see the changes year over year. So it's such an important tool for kind of, crystal balling into the future about what businesses in your community are, how are their business changing? So it's a really great tool.
Well, look forward to seeing where you take it in the next year and having Jack here to do all the work.
Yeah, it'll be the biggest challenge really, next steps for us is updating the database.
Yeah,
And again, we don't have everyone's emails, so we're gonna be going old school and sending people letters, doing business walks for sure. We'll be using all of the tools available to us to get that data up as updated as we can before we input it.
yeah. And when do you hope to have approval from council on the other?
It will be going to
aspect?
council in the next couple of months, so I
Okay.
think sometime in April.
Great.
And really the changes are a lot of just technical changes.
Yeah.
But our steps right now is we will be in the next coming weeks meeting with the purpose sample of our business community. So we can say, hey, these are the changes we're proposing. This is the change with the business licensing system in terms of the actual license and this annual survey.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? Are you okay with this? Because we want to be able to go to council to say that we've done some engagement with the business community
Right,
prior to proposing these changes. And given that it only helps us help our business community more,
right.
I'm sure it will be well received, but
Yeah.
they need to understand how it will affect them in a positive way.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you did say something about using the other departments, using the system. We do have communities that actually do have, like, the planning department and economic development and some of the other departments all using the system.
Yeah.
So that they're all dealing with a company. It's all, everything's communicated back and forth and it's all in there so everybody can track that. So thanks very much, Donna, for taking the time.
Yeah,
And being part of today. And Laith, I wanted to hand it over to you now to show a couple of things. And I know we were hoping to have Denise also from the South Okanagan. Seems like it's all chamber right now, but the South Okanagan Chamber's done a bunch of work too they have the economic development project for Asuyas to Okanagan Falls, I believe, and have done a lot of work. Maybe just Laith, if you want to show them a couple of things. She was hoping to be on to show, but gave you permission to show if you could just do that.
Well, yeah, and I would suggest that Christina's presentation, she was doing what I'm about to show you. I have a saved report in this system where they're doing comparison of business walks from 2022 to 2023. But Christina already showed you that type of comparative analysis, Dale, that for the record, you didn't even know existed until we talked about it this week. So this is, I mean, you have
it from me.
yeah, you thought we took it away. We never did. But the reality is, in a good way, you can see how communities start, just what they said about the rabbit hole. They start working in this and then they realize, well, I can do this, I can do that, I can try this, I can do that. And it really becomes, the only limitation is really your own imagination and how you want to apply some of these concepts. So I have a save query in this system, and I just want to show you guys really quick. I'm going to actually come down here. I'm just going to go to save searches here. I have a save search in this system, and I'm going to do this. And Christina, this is essentially a variation of what you did at the community level. You were doing comparative analysis by community. I'm doing a different variation of that. I'm doing it by business walk year. By the way, the other option is you can do it by industry sector. So I could be saying as a practitioner anywhere in BC or anywhere else that we're deployed, hey, I want to look at manufacturing versus wholesaling versus retailing. What are the trends telling us? Dale, this is my result set from this system, and I'm just going to show you. I'm going to graph this just so everybody can see it real quick. This shows you that comparative analysis. And for those folks that haven't seen the platform, what we are trying to achieve with our reporting is, and Dale, I'm giving you all the credit in the world, because when we started working together years ago, many years ago now, you were insistent on branding the systems. We had never branded a CRM for the client before we worked with you. That is 100% your idea. And now it's mainstay. But here is this comparative analysis report, and I'm just going to show it to you in the interest of time within the system. But Christina mentioned to you, you can export these as PDF, Excel, PowerPoint, or Word documents. So I'm not relegated to staying within the platform. When I generate these one-click analytics that are branded and formatted, etc., I can pull them out and use them in a variety of different ways. But Dale, this is their comparative analysis over time. And again, there's a variety of ways that you can use this tool.
Yeah, and to me, it's really important, like if we're doing business walks or any business retention programs, to be able to compare year over year. So I'm really excited that this is there. And to any community that I said maybe it isn't there, I apologize, but it's there. Anyways, there you go.
Well,
so Lake, anything else you wanted to show?
I want to mention a couple other things. Again, this is all you and Ashley. I'm giving you guys all the credit in the world on this. You know, we do resource guides where we allow a community to say, these are the assets that we have in terms of economic, community, workforce development, government services, rideshare, hotels, whatever. They can plug their resources in and do resource guides. And Dale, you built a resource guide. You and Ashley spent a lot of time on this, building a resource guide. And I just want to show folks what that looks like, because we posted, thanks to you this week, we posted these resource guides, these BCEDA resource guides to everybody's system. And I want you guys to see it's under downloads, and you can download the resource guide here. I'm going to download it and show you guys what this looks like. This is a fully formatted live PDF. And this is nothing more, Dale, than a variation of asset mapping. That's really what we're talking about here. You have mapped your economic, community, workforce development assets. And if I say, hey, I'm interested in destination BC, I click, and this takes me to the organization, who the point of control is, or the point of contact, the type of services they offer. This is now in every single system. Now, this is a generic province-wide resource guide. If folks are interested in mapping their own resources, we can help them do that, and they can have a more intimate guide if they want to do that.
And yeah, I think this guide is really helpful, and we'll continue to update it. Ashley, this type of guide, this type of format is available to all the ExecutivePulse users. Ashley has just shared, I believe, did you just share it on the in the drop or in the chat box?
In the chat, yeah, there's a link to the resource rundown, and it's a 4-page document that you can share with your business community. It's got links to all sorts of resources for businesses, as well as some information on sector resources, regional and local resources.
Ashley, you were instrumental in really guiding our team through this, and I want to thank you for that.
Thank you, guys.
So, Dale, a couple other things I just want to mention to folks, that just so they know what's kind of coming down the road here. Oh, I do also want to mention a lot of our clients now are going to touch points. And this really goes to what Donna was just kind of describing, saying, hey, how do I kind of understand every interaction we have at a city level or county level or municipal level? A lot of our clients now are going to these touch point forms, which for those of you that are familiar with what our journal entries are like, it's really an amped up journal entry system that's a lot easier to navigate than the journal system is. And Dale, if you're interested, we can maybe do another session where I'll show folks different examples from Canada and the US on how people are using touch points. But touch points are nice because they allow you to document virtually any transaction or interaction you have with a business person or business. And then the analytical capabilities are very analogous to what Christina showed you with how they were looking at business walk data. You can mine those kind of analytics as well and say, how many meetings did we have last month? What were the pervasive needs of business? And it's more agile than like a BRE form or even a business walk form, which is more kind of, over time, you're doing 1 or 2 a year. This is something you'd use all the time.
Okay. The other thing that you maybe we'll just stop sharing your screen there, Leif, and then
Yes.
we'll one of the things that I think we also wanted to just touch on today is that you are incorporating like a bunch of automation type of programs, and I know that actually was talking with Dawn about this today. And I think even it was interesting what Christina said about the surveys that were sent out. You guys did this, and the reality is you did do it, but it was something you programmed that was just automatic for every system. That if they, when you're programming the survey to go out, you set it to send those reminders. Whether it's 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is. But you're doing more of that now with some of the other automations.
We just released, we have some clients in the Midwest and the States that were really pushing us, and we released a whole suite of what we consider to be email or marketing automation. And I'll use Donna as an example. Donna says to the system, anytime I add a site selector to the system, within 1 day, I want this message to go to them. Within 3 weeks, I want them to get this collateral material. Within 4 months, I want them to get this follow-up. You can, and it could be whether you're using this for virtual business walk responses, any trigger point in the system, you can build what ifs, if then this happens. It's really powerful functionality because you really don't have to, literally, you don't have to log into the system if you set these things up correctly. The system will do everything for you.
That's great stuff.
So
does anybody have any? What's that? Go ahead, Lynn.
I just wanted to mention too that, we were using Google search integration. We were using another vendor to help us do that. And I'm just going to tell you, we have not been real happy with the way that they have been working on their end of the equation. We are right now actively looking at integrating AI in two ways in the system. The first way is going to be just what we've been talking about. How do we populate the CRM? We want to use AI integration to help us get really robust profiles on businesses. And, Google integration is fine, but it's hit and miss. We want to use an AI tool, and we're already way down the road with this in helping us populate business profile and contact profile information into the CRM. That's one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is on the analytics side. We want somebody like Christina to be able to say to AI, hey, I'm looking at all this data. What the heck does it mean? Can you help me understand the trends here? She pointed out to all of us that she can figure out the trends, but when her data sets get bigger and more complex, she might want to lean into AI to help her figure out what the data is really saying.
That would be an amazing add-on when that happens. Well, Leif, thanks very much. I really appreciate it. And I think Ashley wants to do a bit of a plug about the BC Economic Summit. I know that she just typed it into the chat box there, but Ashley, you want to say a few words?
Yeah, registration's open. We'd love to see you in Penticton. We've got 3.5 days of full schedule in the works. Again, we're having sessions on business supports, healthcare, and many other relevant economic development topics, as well as interactive workshops, conversation cafes, and fun networking opportunities. So again, we really hope to see you in Penticton from May 6th to 9th.
And we have 3-4 incredible sort of keynote sessions that will be primary sessions in addition to the many breakouts that we're going to have. We'll also have a virtual tour, or not a virtual tour, but an actual tour to
Vertical.
vertical farm in Okanagan Falls. That will happen on one of the days, and we have Shane Feldman from a keynote speaker. The man's traveled the world, engaging with communities and finding out what's working in those communities. And then also he's a founder of a network of, I think it's over 10 million people online. It's a very powerful keynote speaker that will open the summit. We have Ian Campbell from Squamish First Nations. We'll talk on the second day, and then we have it was right on the tip of my tongue, the economist from BC Central Credit Union.
Yes, Brian Yu.
Yeah, Brian Yu. And then we also have a presentation on what's Steve gonna do, Ashley? That's next session on the Wednesday. Dave Parcells, counterpart.
Yes. Using your local advantages.
Yes, how to use your local advantages. So again, some of the stuff that Donna wants to find out, or some of the stuff Christine's find out, how do we not use that? How do we use what some of those advantages are that our businesses are experiencing? So, all right, everybody, that's it for today. And I thank you all for joining. I thank Leith, Christina, Tammy for jumping in. Donna, Jack, thanks very much for participating today and letting me use the room. And of course, Leith, we'll chat to you soon, I'm sure. Okay. Thanks,
Thanks
Ashley.
so much, folks.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.